The very first thing I did after being reborn was aggressively skip classes to work out. Even when faced with my teacher's warnings of failing and a breakup with my girlfriend Lu Ruyen, I remained completely unfazed. Because, having lived a second life, I know that in exactly 1 month, various devil fruits will spawn all over the world. By then, anyone who obtains a devil fruit will gain supernatural powers. In my past life, even though I acquired such abilities, my fruit's weak power and my terrible physical condition led to my tragic death in the zombie horde. Now that I've been reborn, I naturally have to use my foresight advantage to seize every available resource. From what I remember, there was a specific devil fruit in my past life that spawned in a fruit shop near the campus named You're So Beautiful. However, I don't know the exact time this fruit will appear. Therefore, ever since my rebirth, I've come to this fruit shop every day to buy some fruits, taking the chance to check if that devil fruit has shown up yet. Walking into the shop, I took my usual stroll around, examining every single fruit. When I reached the peach section, 2 short purple stems suddenly caught my attention. Pushing aside the pile of peaches covering it, the true form attached to these purple stems was fully exposed before my eyes. That's right, it looks exactly like the fruit from my memory. This is the devil fruit of Emperor Kaido from the One Piece world. According to reports from my past life, this was the strongest fruit with a known location. Excellent. I was overjoyed, paid for it, and grabbed a bag of fruit. Just as I walked out of the store, a rather sturdy middle-aged man bumped right into me. Immediately, his face aligned with a memory from my past life. He was the one who ate the Azure dragon fruit in my previous life. I quietly counted my blessings. If I had been even a second later, the Azure dragon fruit would have been bought by this guy. Upon returning to my dorm, I didn't hesitate anymore. I picked up the fruit and took a massive bite. Blurg. It tasted like a garbage bin mixed with a septic tank, like dipping a rancid rag into it and shoving it in my mouth. It was so foul that I nearly puked, but I forced down the disgust and swallowed the fruit flesh. Stealing myself once more, I simply ate the remaining peel, core, leaves, and the short purple stems, swallowing them all down. After a long while, I took a deep breath. The seed of a miracle had been planted. Now I just had to wait for it to bloom. Afterward, I took out my phone and started browsing through short videos and forums. I scrolled through the major video apps and message boards for a bit, and typed a specific username into the search bar. I clicked on the very first video. Hey bros, do you see this rumble fruit? I'm auctioning it off in the comments. Highest bidder takes it. Seeing this, I was incredibly tempted. Even though I had already eaten the Azure dragon fruit and couldn't consume a second one, once the apocalypse begins and everyone realizes the true value of devil fruits, a single fruit will be absolutely priceless. They'll be the ultimate bargaining chips. And even if I didn't trade it, I could give it to my parents, or let my sister eat it. Or rather, it's not entirely impossible to eat a second devil fruit yourself. It's just that it requires immense strength, extreme luck, and the right opportunity. Without leaving a comment, I directly DM'd this blonde guy whose username was Noble Boss Mao. Bro, this prop fruit is well made. Looks just like the real deal. I'll take it. I'm sure you know the people in the comments are just trolling. Name your price directly. If it's reasonable, I'll buy it right now. Bro, this is a real devil fruit. Asking for $1 million isn't too much, right? If it's real, why haven't you eaten it? If you sincerely want to sell it, give me a realistic price. Otherwise, I'm blocking you. How about 100K? 1,000, final offer. For a figure of this quality, this price is already the absolute limit. I thought I could scam a bit more cash, but $1,000 isn't bad. 1,000 works for me. It's enough to party for a while. The blonde guy quickly replied, send the money and I'll ship it to you. You're not an official store. If I send the money, what if you just run off with it? Give me an address, I'll come meet you to trade in person. The blonde guy didn't care either. In person it is. What? Is he gonna rob me or something? After getting his address, I rushed over immediately. 2.5 hours later, I arrived at the county station he mentioned. Are you the guy buying the devil fruit? Show me your payment code. Let me check the fruit first, then I'll scan it to pay. Money first, then the goods. What? Afraid I'll scam you? We're in your territory, right? The blonde guy realized he had a point. He was quite well known among the local street punks. If this guy dared to refuse payment, he could summon a mob of his bros with a single call. I took the bag from his hands and pulled the fruit out from inside. My heartbeat involuntarily sped up. This was absolutely a real devil fruit. I immediately scanned his code and paid him the $1,000. I took the fruit and headed straight back to campus. If this small county actually had a train station, I would have just boarded a train and gone straight home. On my way back, I took out my phone to scroll through videos. Suddenly, a specific news clip caught my eye. Today, numerous patients have fallen into sudden comas, and many have developed strange spots on their bodies. Experts state that this is highly likely to be a new strain of influenza. We urge everyone to wear masks and take preventative measures. Seeing this news report, my heart skipped a beat. Comas, spots appearing on people's bodies. These were all omens of the apocalypse. Getting back to my dorm room, I grabbed the luggage I'd packed earlier, ready to leave. Right at that moment, a sudden shriek echoed from behind me. Many students had collapsed on the floor, and dark spots were beginning to form on their bodies. At the very same time, an inexplicably terrifying pressure descended over everything. Everyone felt a heavy, sinking feeling in their chests. And then, All the unconscious students began undergoing a horrifying mutation. Their eyes bulged grotesquely, and their nails grew into sharp, beast-like claws. Like ravenous zombies, they began pouring out of the dorm rooms. Countless students were screaming in terror, sprinting toward the exits. And it was at this very moment that I felt a power awakening from deep within my blood. That power was wildly violent and immensely strong. It was the power of the devil fruit I had eaten earlier. The power of the Azure dragon surged through my body. I threw my head back and roared, unleashing a resonant, earth-shaking dragon's roar. Azure scales erupted across my skin, horns sprouted from the top of my head, and my hands and feet morphed into razor-sharp dragon claws. My entire body was undergoing a draconian transformation. Seeing this sudden mutation, the students in the hallway were absolutely terrified, assuming I had turned into a monster just like the zombies. Now shifted into my human-beast hybrid form, my physical stats had skyrocketed. My strength, defense, speed, and regenerative abilities were all amplified to the extreme. Just then, two zombies lunged at me from behind with vicious snarls. I swung my dragon claws, effortlessly swatting them both away. Then, another zombie burst out of an adjacent room. I opened my mouth and unleashed a blast breath. A scorching beam of fire instantly incinerated the zombie before me. However, after releasing that blast breath, I suddenly felt my stamina plummet. A devil fruit's power is entirely fueled by physical stamina. Even if I unlock Haki in the future, utilizing it will still drain my stamina. During this first phase of the apocalypse, it's all about body forging and physical conditioning. I'm not from the Oni race like Kaido, nor do I possess his monstrous baseline physique. Therefore, even with the Azure dragon fruit, the sheer power I can output right now is nowhere near Kaido's level. I pulled a baseball bat out of my backpack. It was a custom-made, thickened, and heavily weighted bat, perfect for smashing in zombie skulls. I swung the baseball bat, coating it with crackling trails of electricity. The Azure dragon fruit grants me the ability to manipulate wind, fire, and lightning. Although the elemental output isn't as pure as a Logia type, it's more than enough to enhance my physical attacks. I went on an absolute rampage through the hallway, which quickly caught the attention of the remaining students. It was precisely because I kept killing zombies that those classmates were given a chance to catch their breath. My electricity-wrapped baseball bat was truly like a thunder bagua, devastating in every sense. The zombies in front of me were basically one shot with a single swing. But he didn't immerse himself in the thrill of the kill, but instead, while fighting, charged quickly downstairs. Right now, there are two urgent matters. One is to find a way home. In this life, I can't let my parents and sister be bullied again. The other is to kill 100 zombies as fast as possible. Because as long as someone solo kills 100 zombies, the God-given space will open. By then, I can redeem the cultivation method for the 3-color Haki, accelerating the improvement of my strength. The Azure dragon can fly, but with my current stamina, I definitely wouldn't last long enough to fly home. Along the way, I swung my iron bat like an Azure dragon god of war, invincible and unstoppable. A large group of students gathered behind me, wanting to follow me out of the stairwell. But what they didn't know was in this apocalypse, there's no safe place left. Hiding in the dorms with the doors closed might actually let them live a little longer. After charging out of the stairwell, my eyes narrowed. The situation downstairs was simply spine-chilling. This school used to be a mass grave. Many people died here during the war. Campus rumors said the dark aura here was thick. Residential buildings built here caused many to fall ill. Later, a feng shui master suggested building a school, using the strong masculine vitality of young people to wear away the dark energy. Now, those corpses that had become withered bones, under the infection of the zombie virus, all crawled out from underground, attacking every living person they saw. Someone save me! The campus was in utter chaos. Everyone was frantically running for their lives. They fled blindly, colliding with each other. But I ignored them, locked my sights on the school gates, and charged forward. Whether it was zombies along the way or skeletons, they were all blown away by a single swing of my bat. Finally, when I fought my way to the school gates, my body suddenly froze. Not just me, everyone, including the zombies, stopped in their tracks. It was as if the pause button on time had been pressed for the entire world. First divine grant, devil fruits descend. Third, God-given space opens. Then, my vision went black. When I woke up again, I was already in a strange space. There is no concept of space here, nor time. Only two holographic screens, one large and one small. The large screen had 4 big words: God-given store. The small screen had 4 words: personal stats panel. These things, I was already deeply familiar with from my past life. They were opportunities bestowed by an unknown entity. You could redeem corresponding items using points. There were cultivation methods, combat skills, equipment, potions, etc. Because you are the first to reach 100 points from hunting zombies, you will receive a God-given reward. And because you reached 100 points within 10 minutes of the apocalypse, the tier of the God-given reward is upgraded. You may choose one of the following 3 rewards. I was stunned. This was something I hadn't experienced in my past life. Reward 1, Perfect Fruit. Brings your current Azure Dragon Fruit to a perfect state, completely eliminating the side effects of the Azure Dragon Fruit. Once the side effects are eliminated, not only can you ignore the weaknesses to sea stone and seawater, but you can also eat a second devil fruit without your body exploding. Reward 2. Hockey Genius. No points required for redemption, no cultivation needed. Directly awaken the 3-color hockey, and even if you don't actively train, the 3-color hockey will automatically and slowly grow. If you actively train it, then your 3-color hockey cultivation speed will double. Reward 3. Zombie Slaying Divine Weapon. You will obtain a custom type weapon. This weapon will be of the Supreme Grade Sword tier, and it will deal double damage to zombies. Fruit, Hockey, Weapon. Choose one of 3. 1 and 3 can immediately boost combat power. 2 boosts combat power slowly, but has a higher ceiling. Based on my experience of obtaining the 2nd Divine Grant in my past life, at least until that point, Hockey had not become obsolete. As I was hesitating, I suddenly remembered Professor Kaido's golden words of wisdom. Hockey is the foundation. Roger Shanks and Garp didn't have Devil Fruit abilities, yet they still became peerless powerhouses. Even Professor Kaido, to pursue the enhancement of his Hockey, didn't fully develop his Devil Fruit and didn't even awaken it when fighting King Luffy. I choose 2. Hockey Genius. I hesitated no longer. Abilities should be refined, not just numerous. How strong the Azure Dragon Fruit is depends on how strong my own physique is. Pushing a single Devil Fruit to its absolute limit is already hard enough. The next moment, my mind cleared with a sudden flash of insight. I directly awakened the 3-color Hockey. A thin, black layer of Hockey coated my fist. This was Armament Hockey. Immediately after, I spent 10 points to redeem 5 pieces of water meat. This is a food that rapidly restores stamina, allowing me to last longer in battle. And the personal panel provides not just personal stats, but also acts as a communication tool. When human civilization and infrastructure are destroyed in the apocalypse, everyone relies on the communication function of the personal panel to stay in touch. Moreover, it very thoughtfully divided it into many different channels. At this moment, quite a few people had already started chatting with each other. The spatial stasis is about to end. From now on, you can enter the God-given space with a mere thought. My vision went black again. When I woke up again, my consciousness had returned to my body, surrounded by endless zombies and panicked, bewildered students and teachers. I stuffed a piece of water meat into my mouth, and while wolfing it down, I continued my charge toward the school gates. Suddenly, I sensed something. I immediately shifted my position, and right where I had just been standing, a skeletal arm thrust out. It was Observation Hockey. My lightning-wrapped baseball bat made quick work of it, obliterating the several zombies charging at me. Then, I transformed back into human form, got straight into my car, and gunned the engine, speeding out of the city. The road was filled with an endless stream of fleeing vehicles. They thought the zombie outbreak was confined to the city and wanted to escape to sparsely populated areas to prolong their lives. However, there wasn't a single inch of safe haven left in this world. The car radio was still broadcasting an emergency national alert. Citizens, do not panic. Stay at home and lock your doors and windows. Our military has been deployed, and our biolabs are developing an antidote. Please maintain order and do not cause chaos. The first wave of the zombie virus spread through the air. Those with weak constitutions would be infected, which made hospitals and nursing homes the epicenters of infection. After the apocalypse officially began, the primary mode of transmission for the virus became biting and blood transmission. Under these circumstances, the military personnel who had the best physiques had an extremely low chance of getting infected. So, in the early stages of the apocalypse, the military could still exert some effectiveness. But I knew this wouldn't last long. If the military wanted to rapidly clear out the zombies, they had to use firearms and other hot weapons. But by doing so, they wouldn't earn any points. Without points, they couldn't get stronger. As the zombies continuously grew stronger and eventually became immune to conventional firearms, the military would become increasingly powerless, and the collapse of social order would only accelerate. So, the only chance of survival now is for everyone to fight and battle the zombies. This is a survival of the fittest. I'm driving at top speed. Even if zombies block the way ahead, I choose to ruthlessly ram right through them. Suddenly, my phone rings. As soon as I answer, I hear my sister's anxious and terrified voice. Bro, where are you? There are so many zombies outside. It's terrifying. I'm fine. How are you doing? Are mom and dad okay? Mom listened to you, took time off early and brought me home. Dad is still at the hospital. He said he locked his office, so he's safe for now. Bro, you were completely right. If you hadn't forced mom to take time off, we might already be dead out there. Ao Ming had been wondering for the past month why her brother bought massive amounts of supplies every day and sent them home. They had no idea where I got all that money. Of course, I didn't have the money myself, and 1 month wasn't enough to earn it. But since the apocalypse was coming, what did I have to fear? I took out loans from every single platform. If I hadn't lacked a way to explain it to my parents, I probably would have mortgaged the house too. But with the existence of the God-given space, there was actually no need to hoard too many supplies. These were strictly for emergencies. Just as we were talking, a luxury car ahead flipped over trying to dodge a lunging zombie, causing a massive pileup. Many vehicles crashed right into it, resulting in total wreckage and casualties. I had anticipated this scene. It was too late to hit the brakes now. I grabbed my backpack and baseball bat and directly transformed into my Azure Dragon form. I smashed through the car roof and flew into the sky. Flame clouds supported my body, as the Azure Dragon soared straight up. This miraculous scene stunned everyone on the road. This caused the already severe crash to become even more disastrous. I had no time to care about the chaotic crash site below. I breached the clouds and flew straight toward my destination. Occasionally, I'd pull out a piece of water meat from my bag to replenish my stamina. I can't fly for too long right now. Finally, when all the water meat was consumed, I descended from the sky and reverted to my human form. I briefly scanned my surroundings and didn't spot any zombies. I quickly entered the God-given space, redeemed 5 more pieces of water meat, and stuffed them all into my backpack. Currently, inside the backpack, there are only these 5 pieces of water meat and a rumble fruit. After eating a piece of water meat, I didn't take flight again. Although the water meat replenishes stamina, relying on it continuously for recovery would cause my stamina to deplete much faster, and it doesn't cure mental fatigue. I opened the map and took a look. I needed to find a highway now and hijack a car. After confirming the direction, I transformed into the Azure Dragon once more. This time, I only flew for 10 minutes before spotting a highway below. Countless cars were speeding along it. I was looking for a sturdy off-road vehicle. In the traffic below, many people noticed the Azure Dragon flying in the sky. Someone immediately recorded it on their phone and uploaded it to the God-given Space's comms channel. Guys, I just saw a dragon, a massive Azure Dragon. It must be nearly 100 meters long. Below this video, comments flooded in instantly. An Azure Dragon? That has to be Kaido's Azure Dragon fruit, right? I wonder who got so lucky to obtain such a powerful mythical Zoan type. Damn it. I once obtained a rumble fruit, but I thought it was fake, so I just sold it. A real devil fruit, and the incredibly rare Logia type rumble fruit at that. And he actually sold it for just 1,000. The blonde kid probably wanted to slap himself to death right now. Above the highway from Jijo to Yujo, in my Azure Dragon form, I finally spotted a highly durable-looking off-road vehicle. Just as I was about to land and hitch a ride, I caught a glimpse of a faint light from a large tree by the highway where a dim light was flickering. My heart skipped a beat. I descended toward that large tree. As I got closer, my dragon eyes widened in shock. Heaven is on my side. At the top of that barren poplar tree, hidden amidst the dense leaves, hung a single fruit. The fruit was shaped like a corn cob, entirely golden, and covered in white curly swirl patterns. It was a fruit I had never seen before, but that was normal. There were far more devil fruits in the apocalypse than in the manga. The manga only featured a few dozen, but according to the statistics compiled in my past life, there were tens of thousands of them. Of course, the vast majority were Zoan types, and mythical Zoan types weren't that rare either. After all, there are countless myths from cultures all over the world. Every divine beast and magical monster from those legends could become a new mythical Zoan fruit. But even if mythical Zoan fruits became as common as dirt, they still fully deserved the title of the strongest. I reached out with my dragon claw, plucked the fruit, and placed it into my large backpack. Once my points reached 1,000, I could unlock a new feature in the God-given space, Devil Fruit Appraisal. This way, I could avoid eating an undesirable fruit. Of course, the appraisal fee was steep. Each appraisal cost a full 1,000 points. Just as I was about to catch up to that off-road vehicle, a large truck ahead suddenly flipped over. 3 zombies crawled out of the wreckage and began attacking the surrounding vehicles. But who would dare to stop at a time like this? Everyone just slammed the gas and ran right over the zombies, swerving violently to shake them off. This reckless driving immediately triggered a pileup. I glanced over but paid it no mind. Instead, I landed next to the overturned truck. Transforming into my human beast form, I grabbed the flipped side and forcibly flipped it right side up. The physical strength granted by the Azure Dragon fruit was utterly terrifying. Then, I climbed into the cab and drove straight ahead. When I reached the site of the pileup, I transformed back into the Divine Dragon and swept all the car wreckage blocking my path aside. The vehicles behind me drove through the path I had cleared and unconsciously began tailgating me. I saw this in the rearview mirror, but I didn't care. Let them follow if they want to, as long as they don't get in my way. Car crashes happen constantly, so I occasionally got out to deal with the zombies and clear the road. As long as you protect me, I can give you more money than you could ever spend. A wealthy-looking, pot-bellied, greasy middle-aged man gave me an ingratiating smile. Take one more step, and you die. The man was so terrified that he involuntarily dropped to his knees. It was as if the half-dragon youth standing before him was the absolute supreme ruler of the world. A slight release of Conqueror's haki froze the group of people who had been about to approach me. However, under the threat of death, some were still willing to gamble for their lives. A gorgeous, mature woman boldly stepped forward. Even in the apocalypse, she was dressed impeccably. "Hey, handsome, can you take me with you? You can do anything you want to me." But my only response to her was a cold, "Get lost." Just as I deactivated my power and was about to get back into the truck, a muscular man walked up from behind. "Sir, I am willing to pledge my loyalty to you." Seeing that I had no intention of stopping, he quickly pitched himself as fast as he could. "Sir, I've read plenty of apocalyptic novels. You may be powerful, but won't you need manpower to build a base? I, Meng Kuei, might not have much, but I've got plenty of brute strength. I'm a combat instructor. I can definitely be of use to you." I stopped in my tracks and looked back at him. Rubbing my chin, I thought for a moment. The man made a valid point. The order of civilization is on the verge of total collapse. To survive in the apocalypse, I need to build my own safe base to fight against the zombies. These zombies are evolving at an extremely fast rate. It will be hard to protect my family 24/7 relying solely on myself. Get in. Seeing my approval, Meng Kui was overjoyed. His own parcels, luggage, and even his car. He abandoned them all, terrified that if he was a second late, I'd leave him behind. He didn't dare to get into the passenger seat, but instead used his physical fitness to climb into the back cargo bed. Meng Kui's success gave the others hope. It seemed this big shot wasn't completely unapproachable. However, just as the greasy, middle-aged man opened his mouth, I cut him off. Even if I wanted to recruit people, I wouldn't take in too many right here. For the early stage, having Meng Kui alone is enough. Besides, this guy's loyalty is still a question mark. It needs to be tested over time. Please give me a chance. My skills and my life will all be devoted to achieving your goals. This woman looks like a ruthless character. She might be capable of achieving great things. I gave the woman a deep look. Get in. The woman was ecstatic. But without my permission, she didn't dare sit in the passenger seat either. Instead, she discarded her image and struggled to climb into the back. I watched this scene, nodding secretly to myself. This woman might not be just a pretty face. The others behind them wanted to follow suit, but I released my Conqueror's Haki once again. The crowd collapsed to the ground in terror. A hardcore One Piece fan recognized this aura of a king. Oh my god. The boss has already awakened Conqueror's Haki. Returning to the truck, I started the engine and kept moving forward. After driving for a full 2.5 hours, I finally found a roadside service area. However, it was already overrun by zombies. Passing travelers originally wanted to stop here for gas and food, but seeing the massive horde of zombies entrenched here, they had to abandon the idea. But I had no such concerns. As soon as the large truck parked here, a group of zombies swarmed over. They couldn't get into the driver's cabin, so they tried to climb into the back to attack Meng Kui and the beauty. The two cowered in the back in fear, not daring to peek out. I opened the door and instantly entered my human beast form. With a casual swing of my baseball bat, I smashed the zombies climbing the truck to death. The convoy that had been following me also arrived at the service area. They intended to wait for me to clear the zombies before scavenging for supplies. However, their appearance instantly attracted a large horde of zombies that lunged at them. Left with no choice, the convoy had to leave. Meanwhile, with 1 strike per kill, I quickly slaughtered all the zombies. I only left 1 zombie for Meng Kui to practice on. Meng Kui truly lived up to being a combat coach. His strength, speed, and combat reflexes were all quite good. By the time I finished refueling, he had successfully killed that zombie. After restocking our supplies, I finally asked the cheapao-wearing beauty for her name. Although this woman looked fragile and useless with her thin arms and legs, ever since she got on my truck she had behaved quite well. She didn't scream or panic when the zombies climbed the truck. This raised my evaluation of her a bit more. My name is Lu Xiao. Seeing that I finally asked for her name, the woman answered hastily, "Sit in the passenger seat. You don't need to ride in the back anymore." My words pleasantly surprised Lu Xiao. This meant the young man had acknowledged her. Yes, master. Her form of address stunned me once again. She didn't even ask for my name, but directly addressed me as master. Being able to put down one's pride and status, people like this can survive much better in the apocalypse. Soon, we set off again. On the road, I received another call from my sister, Ao Yu. "Brother, where are you?" "Dad is trapped in his office at the hospital. I heard there are the most zombies in hospitals. Dad has no food or water. I'm so scared something will happen to him." Aoyu's voice was choked with sobs. Beside her, my mother's voice could be heard. "Xiaoxing, how are things at your school? Protect yourself. Mom and Dad will find a way to save you." "Mom, don't worry. I got teacher Kaido's Azure Dragon Fruit. It's even stronger than a Logia type." "Brother, was the Azure Dragon in that video you? You looked so cool." Speaking of devil fruits, Aoyu instantly lost all her fear. My sister and I chatted on the phone for a full hour. After hanging up, I called my father. I told him I was now an ability user, and that I would be there to save him soon. I told him to stay hidden and not to risk running out. Sitting in his office at that moment, the anxious and helpless Ao Kang finally felt relieved. After telling me to be careful, he quietly waited for his son's rescue. By the time I drove the large truck into Biancheng City, it was already late at night. The streets were filled with zombies wandering aimlessly. In the silent night, the rumbling sound of the large truck was exceptionally harsh. The people who were still too terrified to fall asleep opened their windows one after another to check the situation outside. I didn't go home. Instead, I headed straight for the central hospital. Hundreds of zombies were gathered here. After getting out of the truck, I immediately entered my human beast form. Lightning wrapped around my baseball bat as I slaughtered my way through the zombie horde with abandon. Walking into the hospital, there wasn't a single living person in sight. "You two wait for me here. We'll leave once I get my dad out." After I left, Meng Kui and Lu Xiao immediately hid in a nearby room and blocked the door with a pile of desks and chairs, waiting for my return. As I killed zombies, I picked up my phone to call my dad. "I've arrived at your hospital. Which office are you in?" On the other end, Ao Kang was hungry and thirsty, and his mind was being tortured by the zombies constantly banging on his door. Deep into the night, he was groggy and half asleep. Suddenly jolted awake by his phone, he saw it was his son calling, and instantly perked up. "Be careful. There are a lot of zombies in the hospital. He didn't state his location, but instead told me to stay safe first. It wasn't until I made a video call to him, and he saw my heroic Dragon Man form slaughtering everything in sight, that Aokang finally felt at ease and pointed out the way for me. I soon arrived at the door of a corner office. 12 zombies were gathered here, constantly banging against the door. The door already had quite a few holes broken through it. If Aokang hadn't blocked the door with heavy desks and chairs, the zombies would have rushed in and torn him apart long ago. I swung my iron bat, smashing all these zombies' heads in. Then, I violently kicked the door open. Although my father inside was in poor condition, he was physically unharmed. That was the best news possible. As Aokang eagerly devoured the water and meat I gave him, he looked over the imposing Dragon Man standing before him. Is this the devil fruit ability you and Xiaoming were talking about? While trapped in the office, Aokang had used the time to watch many videos and read comments in the God Bestowed Spaces communication channel. He roughly understood some things about One Piece. Hee. I gave a goofy smile and casually battered another zombie that barged in to death. How about it? Your son is pretty cool, right? You brat, you look awesome. In the short time Aokang had spent fleeing, he had witnessed countless people being killed by zombies. Now that his entire family was actually safe and sound, it was already the greatest news possible in the apocalypse. On the way out of the hospital with my father, I could still see people looking out from the broken doorways of some rooms. When they saw Aokang leaving with a Dragon Man, and saw how incredibly fierce that person was, someone immediately called out, "Old Kang, old Ao, save me." Seeing his colleagues crying for help, Aokang hesitated before saying to me, "Xiaoxing, save them too. They are all colleagues. It's quite pitiful. Even if we save them, then what? Am I supposed to escort them home one by one? Even if they get home, will they really be able to survive?" Ignoring the shouts of this group, I grabbed my father and quickly left. Passing by Meng Kui and Lu Xiao's room, after clearing out the zombies banging on their door, I smashed the door to pieces with my club and brought the two out. "Boss, master." Seeing me return, the two immediately greeted me respectfully. Aokang, however, was shocked. He looked at me in disbelief. A muscular brute and a stunningly beautiful woman. Why would such people be so respectful to his son? And he heard it loud and clear. That beautiful woman called his son master. Oh my god! Is my son into such wild kinks behind my back? Even with my thick skin from living 2 lives, my face actually felt a little hot at this moment. But I still pretended to be calm and replied, "Just 2 lackeys I picked up on the way." But Aokang's eyes clearly showed disbelief, with a look that said, "You're definitely lying." I was speechless and didn't plan to explain further. I took them back to the large truck, let my father sit in the passenger seat, and shooed Lu Xiao back into the cargo area. After returning home, my sister, Ao Yue, looked at Lu Xiao in astonishment. What a beautiful woman. And what did this woman just call my brother? Master? Whoa. What has my brother been doing out there? And he actually dared to bring her home. And that muscular brute? Even if he claimed to be special forces, I'd totally believe it. Yet he calls my brother boss. At this moment, Lu Xiao, like a dutiful maid, rested her crossed hands on her lower abdomen and stood quietly behind me. Meng Kui was clearly a bit at a loss. He had an outgoing personality, but these were the family members of his boss. He didn't know how to interact with them. Eventually, my mother, Zhang Hong, took the initiative. "You must all be hungry. Come and eat." Upon learning her son was returning, she had stayed awake cooking through the night just so her son and husband could have a hot meal. She just didn't expect her son to bring 2 more people back. Because of this, there wasn't quite enough food. But fortunately, I had prepared plenty of canned food in advance. I opened a few and put together a large feast. Seeing Meng Kui and Lu Xiao standing stiffly to the side, I quickly called them over to eat. Meng Kui was about to step forward, but Lu Xiao spoke up. "Just give me some canned food. I cannot eat at the same table as my master." As soon as she said this, everyone present was completely dumbfounded. Aoyu's suspicious gaze darted back and forth between us. "I know what this is. This is called flirting." Before she could finish her sentence, I flicked her right on the forehead. It hurt so much that tears welled up in her eyes, and she grabbed my arm and bit it. After dinner, I took the devil fruits out of my backpack. I still have 2 devil fruits here. One is the rumble fruit, and I don't know what the other one is exactly yet. You guys eat them. Meng Kui and Lu Xiao were both shocked. They didn't expect me to actually have 2 more, and deep desire shone in their eyes. Aou curiously picked up the 2 fruits to play with, then handed them to our parents to see these magical fruits. However, after looking at them, Aokang handed them back. "Let Xiaoyu eat one. We're getting old, even if we eat them, it would be a waste. Yes, as long as we have you to protect us, we are completely satisfied. Such precious things, you keeping them will definitely be of greater use. I already have the Azure Dragon Fruit. My power will definitely improve very quickly. If you eat the fruits, you can also quickly kill zombies, and then redeem hockey training methods. These are the true capital for surviving the apocalypse." However, after talking for a long time, my parents still refused my offer. "If you get more in the future, you can give them to us then. It's too much of a waste for us to eat them right now." I looked completely helpless and turned to look at Aou. "You pick one." Aou had been staring eagerly at them for a long time. Seeing it was finally her turn, she immediately got excited. She held up the two fruits, looking left and right. The Rumble Rumble fruit is very famous. If I eat this one, it's naturally the safest choice. I don't even know the name of the other one. If it's just a normal Zoan type, I'd suffer a huge loss. But after thinking for a long while, she still handed the Rumble Rumble fruit back to me. I'll eat this one. You're actually not eating the Rumble Rumble fruit? Logia elementalization is invincible in the early stages, and who knows what power that one holds. In the God-given space, a vial of demon cleansing potion can eliminate a devil fruit's side effects and allow a person to eat a second fruit. You're so strong now, you'll definitely be able to get that potion. This Rumble Rumble fruit suits you perfectly. I'll just eat this one. Alright then, I'll appraise it first. If the ability is good, you can eat it. Appraisal. Fruit appraisal is a privilege unlocked only after reaching 1,000 points. Aoua's points were currently at 0, so of course she didn't know. I had slaughtered my way from school to home, and went on a killing spree at the central hospital entrance. The zombies I killed had already exceeded 1,000, which was exactly enough to unlock one appraisal. But upon hearing that appraisal cost 1,000 points, she immediately objected. No, 1,000 points is too expensive. After saying that, without waiting for my rebuttal, she directly grabbed the fruit that looked like golden corn and stuffed it into her mouth. With a gulp, she swallowed it down. Seeing this, I was instantly shocked. I didn't expect Aou to eat it straight away. If this fruit was very weak, she wouldn't even have a place to cry about it. But Aoua had already swallowed a piece of the flesh. What's done is done, so I could only pray that this fruit's power was strong enough. Everyone present stared intently at Aou, who had swallowed the fruit, closely watching her for any changes. Aoua herself also nervously felt the magical energy inside her body. Soon, this energy covered her entire body, and her body began to mutate. Then, her entire body rapidly shrank, turning into a palm-sized white mouse with golden patterns. It's a Zoan type. Everyone immediately understood the category of this fruit, but this little mouse looked highly extraordinary, making it highly likely that it wasn't a normal Zoan. Brother, you guys are so big. What subtype is it? A normal Zoan? An ancient Zoan? Or a mythical Zoan? Hearing the words mythical Zoan, I was instantly overjoyed. It seemed my sister didn't lose the gamble. Mythical Zoans all possess special abilities. What's your ability? Watch this. Saying that, Aou burrowed downwards, unexpectedly phasing right into the gap between the floors. Moreover, there were no bulges or damage on the ground, as if the little mouse had simply merged with the floor. Soon, the little mouse popped out from behind me and transformed into her human beast form. I solemnly introduced my devil fruit ability to everyone. My fruit is called the Zoan type Mouse Fruit Mythical Model Treasure Mouse. It has 3 abilities in total. First, it can pass through all earth and stone barriers, like burrowing underground or passing through walls. To me, it feels just like passing through a curtain of water. Second, I possess an independent treasure storage space that can store inanimate objects. As she spoke, Aoua picked up a mop from the corner and stuffed it toward her chest. Everyone's eyes widened, watching that long and thick object enter her chest and completely disappear. It's actually a pocket dimension. Mother Zhang Hong even poked her head toward her daughter's chest and reached a hand in to feel around. It's gone. After that, Aoua reached into her chest again and pulled the long and thick mop back out. How big is this space of yours? I cared most about this crucial question. As far as I knew, during the first God-given period, there wasn't any storage equipment. As for whether there would be any later, I had no idea. But this ability of Aou's, if the space is large enough, she can carry a lot of things without worrying about losing them. Right now, it's only 10 cubic meters. But as she develops her devil fruit powers, this space will gradually expand. I'm not done yet. I have one more ability. I was even more surprised. Burrowing, phasing through walls, and a pocket dimension are already god-tier skills. To think she actually has another ability. My third ability is treasure hunting. I can sense the aura of treasures, and lock onto their location based on that aura. Right now, my sensing range can cover half of Bian City. Holy crap. Hearing this, I almost cursed out loud. Burrowing, a pocket space, plus treasure hunting, I suddenly felt that my Azure Dragon wasn't that amazing anymore. But come to think of it, the Azure Dragon has many abilities too. First is the ability to control 3 natural elements simultaneously: wind, fire, and lightning. Second is the ability to fly by grabbing hold of flame clouds. Finally, it grants far greater strength than other Zoan types: defense, speed, and enhanced recovery abilities. Comparing the two, the Azure Dragon is much better suited for combat, while the Treasure Mouse focuses on non-combat utility. Aou's voice suddenly sounded a bit frustrated. But there are drawbacks too. Unlike other Zoan types, when I enter my beast form, my strength and defense are almost 0. I have absolutely no combat power. And when I enter my hybrid form, I also receive almost no boost to my strength or defense. They are exactly the same as when I'm in my normal human form. But my speed is incredibly fast. I estimate that the speed boost is at least twice that of other mythical Zoan types. Saying this, Aoua still sounded very proud. This was indeed not a devil fruit suited for combat, but its utility might be even greater than the Azure Dragon. Treasure hunting. In this era, what is considered a treasure? It required almost no thought. There was only one answer: devil fruits. Of course, that was entirely the case. Secret realms will open in the future. This ability of AOU's will also allow us to reap more benefits in those secret realms. Right. Put this Rumble fruit in your treasure space. It's only safe in there. After reviewing AOU's devil fruit abilities, I handed the Rumble fruit to her and transferred 30 of my own points to each of them. I had them exchange the points for the training methods of the 3 types of hockey. Even without a devil fruit, as long as one trains hockey to the extreme, they can still become an absolute powerhouse. In fact, even with the devil fruit, if one's hockey is weak, they will eventually be eliminated by this apocalypse. Afterwards, I exchanged points in the God-given space for a standard military saber for each of them. Then, I led everyone out of the house. Downstairs, there were still countless zombies continuously wandering around. I transformed into my dragon-human hybrid form and knocked down a zombie with a single strike of my club, incapacitating it. Dad, use this saber to finish it off. Ao Kong hesitated a bit. Although the target was a zombie, it used to be a human. He couldn't quite bring himself to do it. Brother, let me do it. I'll show Dad how it's done. With that, she drew her long saber. With a single slash, she killed the zombie. A pungent smell spread through the air. Ao Kang frowned, but as a doctor, he wasn't really afraid. I repeated the process, subduing another zombie. This time, Lu Xiao took the initiative to finish it off. After the demonstration by the 2 girls, Ao Kang was finally able to do it himself. Then it was my mother, Zhang Hong. She also finished off a zombie. As for Meng Kuei, he was more than capable of taking down a zombie alone. As a combat coach, his combat ability was much stronger than my family's. Now they already had the hockey training methods, and the training for armament hockey relies on extreme physical conditioning and endless combat. Tempering one's physique in battle is the foundation of becoming stronger. Dad, you guys train near the house for now. I'll go clear out the zombies further away. Fighting zombies, besides tempering the physique, is also for earning points. This is the currency of the apocalypse. Not only can they be used to exchange for items in the God-given space, they can also be used to trade with other people. The original monetary system has already collapsed. Brother, I'll go with you. Seeing that I was about to leave, Aoyue quickly hugged my arm and begged. Hearing this, I furrowed my brows. No way. I'll clear out a batch of zombies near the house. When you get tired, you can just go home and rest. It's too dangerous to follow me further away. Besides, your devil fruit isn't suited for combat. I sense a treasure towards the southwest. I can take you treasure hunting. A treasure? Aoyue's words startled me. What kind of treasure could there be right now, other than a devil fruit? All right then, stay close to me. Don't run off on your own. Then, I gave Meng Kuei a brief instruction and took Aoyue towards the southwest. We both shifted into our hybrid forms. The speed of the treasure mouse completely amazed me. Relying on her speed and miraculous burrowing ability, those zombies couldn't even touch the hem of Aoyue's clothes. Although Aoyue's own attack power wasn't that great, she was still able to dispatch the zombies using hit-and-run tactics. As I finished off another zombie with my club, Aoyue also successfully decapitated one. However, frequent use of her abilities left her panting heavily, but she still happily showed off to me, "Brother, I took down another zombie." Looking at the girl's praise me expression, I smiled. My Xiao Yue is so strong. Hearing my praise, the girl's beautiful eyes curved into crescent moons, and cute dimples appeared on her cheeks. However, how could one let their guard down like this in battle? A zombie lunged at her from behind, trying to ambush Aoyue. She was startled and hastily tried to burrow underground to escape, but her massive stamina drain left her unable to burrow. The zombie got closer and closer. In the nick of time, I sent the zombie flying with my club. I can't fight anymore, Aoyue panted heavily. She hadn't trained desperately for a month like I did, much less possessed natural talent for hockey. With the help of my points, she only gained the qualification to train hockey. She hadn't awakened it yet. The treasure mouse fruit didn't provide any stamina boosts either. Being able to fight up to this point was already the result of her exercising regularly in the past. Point out the direction. I'll carry you there. Aoyue stuffed her saber into her treasure space, transformed into her beast form, and jumped onto my shoulder. The palm-sized mouse rubbed against my dragon scale-covered cheek. I immediately fully transformed into a dragon. A deafening roar echoed through the clouds, startling countless people hiding in the residential buildings. They poked their heads out one by one, only to see an Azure dragon stepping on flame clouds and soaring high into the sky, disappearing into the clouds. The Azure dragon boss actually came to our BN city. Can he clear out all the zombies in BN city? Some people also recorded the footage of the Azure dragon soaring and uploaded it to the communication channel of the God-given space. They didn't dare to fight the zombies, so they could only hide indoors and communicate with people all over the world through the God-given space. High above BN city, following the direction Aoyue pointed out, I quickly arrived at the place where she said the treasure was. In that forest, Aoyue, in her treasure mouse form, sniffed hard with her little nose. The closer we got to the treasure, the stronger her sensation became. I descended from the sky. After landing on the ground, I shifted back into my hybrid form. The two of us quickly dashed into the woods. This place was sparsely populated, so there were very few zombies. There were only a scattered few here and there, which I easily dispatched. Ha! Stop right there. Suddenly, Aoyue cried out in alarm. Under a pine tree, a sleazy-looking man was holding a red, heart-shaped fruit. At this moment, he was unbelievably thrilled. Having fled the city, he had originally planned to hide in the deserted outskirts. Who knew he would find this devil fruit in this forest? He wasn't a One Piece fan, so he didn't recognize what kind of fruit this was. But from the forums of the God-given space, he knew that no matter what kind it was an absolute treasure. Haha! This massive fortune is finally mine, Wang Defa, he said, opening his yellow-toothed mouth ready to take a bite. Aoyue and I both changed our expressions. There was no time. I immediately unleashed a blast of scorching breath. Aoyue and I quickly ran over. Seeing the devil fruit completely unharmed in the ashes, we hurriedly picked it up. Having survived the apocalypse once before, I had long discarded any sense of mercy. My sister, however, felt a bit guilty. It completely went against the education she had received. But in the apocalypse, only the law of the jungle applies. Might makes right. If I didn't possess this level of strength, finding a devil fruit and being spotted by someone stronger would have resulted in the exact same fate for me. Aoyue nodded gently. Even though it was only the second day of the apocalypse, through the God-given space forum, she had already witnessed the ugliness of human nature. Although she understood this reality, she still felt a bit uneasy and hugged my arm tightly. She looked at the fruit together with me, a red, heart-shaped fruit covered in black curly patterns. As veteran One Piece fans, we both recognized this fruit. It's the most expensive fruit in the pirate world. Just like the Nika fruit, it's worth 5 billion berries. It's the op-op fruit. In my past life, the one who obtained the op-op fruit was an extremely famous powerhouse, but this creepy guy looked nothing like the expert I remembered. Come to think of it, this creep must have died shortly after eating the fruit. Then the op-op fruit respawned somewhere else in the world, where it was eaten by a true powerhouse. In this apocalypse, devil fruits work just like in the manga. Once a fruit user dies, the fruit will randomly respawn. Because of this, later on, martial arts experts would hunt weak fruit users, hoping to obtain the newly respawned fruit. However, the success rate was extremely low, because no one could predict where it would respawn. We can give the op-op fruit to Dad. He will definitely love it. I immediately thought of the best owner for the op-op fruit. Since our father, Ao Kang, is a surgeon, he would certainly be interested in it. With the treasure secured, I transformed back into an Azure dragon, let Aoyue climb onto my back, and quickly flew back home. As for our parents, lacking the stamina, they had already returned home to rest. Liu Xiao was serving them a bit too eagerly, making them feel rather uncomfortable. Meanwhile, Meng Kui was still fighting alone downstairs, clearing out the remaining zombies. He knew very well that simply pledging allegiance to me wasn't enough. If he wanted to be valued in the future, he needed to possess enough strength of his own. There were also quite a few people downstairs trying to kill zombies. After all, the items in the God-given space were simply too tempting. However, even the cheapest tricolor hockey training manual cost 10 points each, which meant they had to kill a full 10 zombies. They brought out kitchen knives, shovels, wooden sticks, and whatever household items they could use, attempting to fight the zombies. But the zombies' strength, speed, and defense far exceeded theirs. From time to time, people would be attacked or scratched and infected, turning into new zombies. Seeing me return, Ming Kui immediately reported everything that happened while I was gone. Good work. If you're tired, go back and rest. I was very satisfied with Meng Kui's performance. This kind of relentless spirit is essential for surviving the apocalypse. No, I want to keep fighting. After I gifted him the points to buy the tricolor hockey manual, even though he hadn't awakened his hockey yet, Meng Kui could clearly feel that his physique improved slightly with every battle. As a combat instructor, he had already pushed his body to its absolute limits. He hadn't felt the thrill of growing stronger for a long time. Therefore, he deeply cherished the opportunity I had given him. Without me, even though he was confident he could eventually kill 10 zombies, it probably would have taken him at least 5 days. Alright then. Know your limits. Don't push yourself too hard. Following that, I took Aoyue upstairs. As soon as we entered, we saw Liu Xiao massaging my mother Zhang Hong's legs. Although my parents were in decent shape, they were getting older. After such an intense battle, their bodies were incredibly sore. While Liu Xiao's massage technique wasn't professional, having someone rub their muscles still brought them a lot of comfort. Master. Seeing me walk in, Liu Xiao immediately and obediently called out, Master. The girl was indeed sensible. I felt that I had a good eye for people. Both Meng Kui and Liu Xiao were worth investing in. Upon entering the room, Aoyue quickly let go of my arm and skipped over to our father. Dad, we brought something amazing for you, she said as she proudly pulled the op-op fruit from her coat and held it in front of Ao Kang. It's the paramecia type op-op fruit. Dad, you're a doctor. You're going to love its abilities. The moment she saw the op-op fruit, Liu Xiao's heart skipped a beat. But she quickly regained her composure and continued diligently massaging Zhang Hong's legs. Though deeply shocked inside, she felt even more grateful for the choice she had made. Ao Kang wasn't overly excited, since he had never watched One Piece. He took the fruit from his daughter and examined it with curiosity. The op-op fruit? Does eating it let you perform surgeries? He naturally deduced this from the fruit's name, but I already know how to perform surgery. Will it just make my hands steadier? Aoye quickly explained it to him. The op fruit lets you create a spherical space. Inside this room, you can cleanly slice through anything, and you can even teleport. Her explanation was a bit all over the place. Seeing that our father still didn't quite get it, she pulled up some videos of the op fruit and showed Trafalgar Law's abilities to him, one by one. Ao Kang looked increasingly amazed. Devil fruits truly are miraculous. However, I'm getting old. You kids should keep this fruit for yourselves. If you and mom get stronger, I'll be able to focus on my tasks with peace of mind. Otherwise, I'll constantly be worried about you guys. I deliberately said this to convince him. Hearing this, Ao Kang was indeed persuaded. As parents, they never wanted to be a burden to their children. As our dad took a bite, a disgusting taste immediately filled his mouth. Seeing him frown, Aou hurriedly explained, all devil fruits taste terrible. Whatever you do, don't spit it out. Don't chew it. Just swallow it straight down. You only need to swallow one bite. Hurry. Now, feel the power of the devil fruit inside you, and try to use it. Ao Kang did as instructed. Following the flow of this new energy within him, he gently raised his hand and pushed downward. A transparent spherical barrier instantly appeared around him. He glanced at a mop sitting nearby. With a mere thought, he instantly swapped places with the mop. Seeing this, Aou and I were thrilled. Now try its severing ability. Ao Kang grabbed the combat knife we used for killing zombies and swung it at the table. The sturdy table was instantly sliced in half, as easily as paper. Dad, cut me. Try cutting me. Aou excitedly jumped in front of him, begging our father to slice her in half. Ao Kang was left utterly speechless. Even though she had just explained the fruit's abilities to him, hearing his daughter beg to be chopped in half still felt incredibly bizarre. I don't think so. I don't have full control of it yet. What if I actually hurt you? I don't care. But no matter how much she begged, Ao Kang absolutely refused to cut her. I think we should test this out somewhere else. Once we find more devil fruits, we'll be able to dominate Bien City. Ao's proposal really tempted me. My sister is right. She has the ability to do it. If we only develop in Bien City, it would be a total waste. Right now, many devil fruits remain undiscovered. Or, after an ability user dies, their respawn fruit hasn't been claimed yet. If I seize this opportunity to collect more devil fruits using Ao's talent, it won't just boost my family's strength, but also serve as a highly valuable resource. In the future, when people get used to this broken world and establish a foothold in the apocalypse, major factions will start to emerge. Although I am strong, I don't yet have the power to conquer the whole world. These fruits can be used for trading, allowing me to get what I need most, or to win over powerful experts, making them my subordinates. However, I'm still worried about my family's safety. My father noticed my concerns. Xing, don't worry. I also have a devil fruit ability now. Plus, with Miss Liu and Meng's help, we will be just fine. I will protect your mom. Your dad is right. Go do what you need to do without worrying. With everything you provided us, we are more than capable of surviving this apocalypse. Rest assured, we will take good care of our parents. I was quite touched. These two I took in are really reliable. Then I'll leave my parents in your care. I'll transfer 400 points to each of you to help you improve your strength faster. Since my sister's proposal was approved, we must put it into action immediately. After that, I used the God-given space and spent 10 points to create a chat group, adding my parents, my sister Meng, and Lu Xiao into it. This way, even when I'm away, I can easily communicate with my family and check up on them. After sorting all this out, I left the house with Aou and hopped into the large truck parked outside. We headed out of the city. Where to? I'll leave the navigation to you. You're a treasure rat. Even if you can't sense any treasures, your intuition should still be useful. Let's head to the provincial capital in the west. It has a large population, and it's a massive city. The chances of finding devil fruits there should be much higher. Following the treasure rat's intuition, I drove towards the west. Along the way, we occasionally got out of the truck to fight. Once our stamina was depleted, we would get back into the truck to rest while driving. However, a large truck is quite inconvenient. I realized we still needed an off-road vehicle. Upon entering the provincial capital, we continued heading straight west. As expected, there were 100 times more zombies here than in Bien City, and the military was here, systematically wiping them out. Guns and artillery roared, repelling hordes of zombies. However, unless their cores were blown to pieces, they could still keep moving. Meanwhile, our truck was intercepted by the military. Military operations ahead. No entry allowed. In that direction, there's a shelter built overnight. Our troops are stationed around it, so it's absolutely safe. They also provide regular food and water. Thank you. The state is indeed doing its best to stop this disaster. Unfortunately, this apocalypse cannot be fought by human civilization alone. I didn't head to the shelter as the soldier advised. Instead, I turned the truck around and chose to bypass the area. You can't save those who have a death wish. Right now, we don't have the capacity to care about them. We drove back to the intersection we came from. After heading north for about 7 or 8 kilometers, we turned west again. This area wasn't cordoned off by the military. Zombies were still running rampant. Occasionally, we saw survivors using buildings to fight the zombies. They used various methods to kill zombies and then quickly retreated indoors. After resting, they would emerge again to hunt more zombies. Everyone was doing whatever they could to survive in this apocalypse. Although we didn't find any devil fruits, I found something even better. You could call this an off-road vehicle, but it was essentially a civilian armored car. Except for the lack of navigation and weapon systems, it was incredibly tough. It was exactly my ideal vehicle. A young man was using the Dongfeng Mengshi, having opened a small hole in the door. He stayed inside and thrust a spear out to stab the attacking zombies. Though it was hard to land a direct headshot, he managed to slowly grind down and kill a few zombies. I parked my truck next to his Dongfeng Mengshi and jumped out with AOU. Dragon Man form, activate. With my reinforced weighted baseball bat, I was unstoppable. This bat is incredibly handy. Even though I have enough points to exchange for a sharp sword, I still prefer using this bat. The young man hiding in the car saw my large truck pull up next to him, and his heart skipped a beat. Holy crap, is Azure Dragon boss here to rob me? While his imagination ran wild, I finished clearing out all the zombies and knocked on his window. The young man in the armored car cautiously opened the door. He knew that if this Azure Dragon boss wanted to, he could easily destroy his car, so it would be best to just cooperate. A truck and half a tank of diesel. I want to trade them for your car. It's not a robbery. A truck and diesel for my Mengshi? It's a loss, but way better than I expected. Since I can't drive the truck after taking his car anyway, I might as well use it for a trade. As for the diesel, I can't take it all with me either. This guy wasn't an idiot. He quickly figured out my intention. He's trying to get something for practically nothing. Boss, I don't want anything in return. Just please take me with you. I'll give you the car for free. After almost 2 days of trying to survive, he fully understood how terrifying the apocalypse was. If he didn't cling to a strong backer now, when would he? I was left completely speechless. This guy sure has thick skin. I have things to do. I can't take you with me. How about this? 30 points. That's enough for you to exchange for the 3-color hockey training manual. Boss, please just take me. I've studied wilderness survival. I can do a lot of things. He was a doomsday survival fanatic. He even specifically custom ordered this reinforced armored vehicle and prepared a complete set of wilderness survival gear. Look at this car. I custom ordered it. And all that gear, I prepared it all. I really can be incredibly useful. I have my own matters to attend to. Taking you with me is impossible, but I can help you clear out the zombies in your villa. With 30 points to buy the hockey training manual, you'll be able to grow stronger on your own. He was a bit discouraged, but getting the hockey training manual was a decent alternative. AOU and I followed the young man into his villa and eliminated all of his zombified family members and his pet dog. Train your hockey well. You can also become an expert in the apocalypse. Boss, my name is Lin Tian. Could you tell me your name? If I ever want to find you, where should I go? He's really fixated on following me, but there's no harm in telling him. If this guy truly has talent, I could recruit him as a subordinate in the future. I'm AO Singh. I live in BN City. If you manage to travel to BN City on foot, I'll consider taking you in. AO Singh, traveling on foot to BN City. I can definitely do that. Actually, killing zombies is useless. Even if you chop off their heads, the dead ones will be devoured by other zombies, triggering their evolution. To completely wipe out the zombies, you have to set them on fire and burn their bodies to ashes. However, when a zombie's body is burned, the accumulated corpse gas inside spreads into the air, increasing the concentration of the zombie virus, which further infects people with weak constitutions. Moreover, the virus is catalyzed by high temperatures, making it even more potent. It's a real dilemma. The only solution is to cultivate hockey. Hockey is a process of body refinement. Push your body to its limits, and you won't fear the virus or the zombies. Any other method is just a temporary fix. If only your spatial storage was a bit bigger. Then we could take all the diesel with us. Since our fuel is limited right now, our search radius is limited too. You think I don't want that? Developing devil fruit abilities isn't that simple. Eat less junk food. If you're tired, go to the divine shop and redeem some aqua meat. It's great for replenishing stamina. I sense a treasure to the southwest. Hearing this, my spirits lifted. Hearing there was treasure, I immediately got excited. I stopped getting out of the car to kill zombies and tried to bypass them instead, driving at full speed in the direction AO pointed. When we finally reached our destination, we realized things weren't that simple. It was a factory, and the outside was reinforced with wire fences. Small machines and scrap furniture were piled at the entrance to block the zombies. Behind the barricade, people used factory tools to craft improvised polearms, which they used to kill any zombies trying to break through. Many people were patrolling inside the factory, checking for weak spots to prevent zombies from climbing in. If a zombie was spotted scaling the fence, someone would immediately rush over with a spear-like weapon, a long pole welded with a sharp blade, to thrust it down. This place had clearly become a makeshift safe haven. To be able to set this up, the organizer must be quite capable. Wait for me in the car. There are too many zombies out here. It's not suitable for your training. Brother, be careful. Does this kid have a death wish? Just watch him get torn to shreds. Oh my god, am I seeing things? This kid is incredibly strong. The surrounding zombies were all drawn to me, but I still didn't activate my dragon transformation. Since I had already reached the copper skin realm, my naturally fit body, plus a month of grueling training, gave me a robust physical foundation. As a hockey genius, I awakened my hockey instantly. With the dual effects of passive enhancement and doubled active training speed, My haki was improving at a phenomenal rate. By the second day of the apocalypse, I had reached the copper skin realm. The so-called copper skin, of course, doesn't mean skin literally made of metal. Body refinement works from the outside in. The skin is the body's first line of defense. Toughening the skin to such an extreme degree drastically reduces the impact the body takes, as well as the recoil force from launching attacks. This is the body's first metamorphosis during training. Strength, defense, speed, and recovery abilities are all comprehensively enhanced. Even without activating the dragon transformation, the Azure Dragon Fruit still provided a solid physical boost to my normal human form. That was why, even without using my powers, I could still easily slaughter the zombies. Furthermore, killing zombies without my powers increased the difficulty, which in turn accelerated the growth of my haki. I recognize that car of his. It's a Dongfeng Mengshi, basically a civilian armored vehicle. He could have just driven right through the zombie horde, but he deliberately parked at our gates instead. He must have his eyes on our base. What is he trying to do? Seize our base? Should we notify the boss? Hurry up and go, old Jang. Boss, an expert just showed up outside. He killed over 100 zombies all by himself and parked his Dongfeng Mengshi right at our gates. The boys think he might be plotting to take over our base. He really is an expert. He's slaughtering those zombies with far too much ease. It puts a massive amount of pressure on me. If this man has malicious intentions toward our base, would we even be able to fight him off? After a full hour, the zombies at the factory's north gate were finally cleared out. Shaking out my sore arms, I strode right up to the factory gates. I need to go inside and grab something. What do you need to grab? I couldn't exactly say I was after a devil fruit. It seemed the devil fruit here was hidden in an obscure spot. Otherwise, these people would have eaten it long ago. Just some vegetables. As soon as I said that, I became even more certain he was targeting my base. He wants to trick us into opening the gates to seize it. What was that strategy from the Art of War again? Borrow a passage to conquer Guo. Even though I was just an ordinary worker, I had read the Art of War in my spare time. This guy wasn't going to fool me. We don't even have enough to feed ourselves. Go look somewhere else. Yeah, exactly. Don't even try to trick us. Get out of here. And what if I insist on going in? Even though I'm no saint, I don't usually kill people for no reason. I just hope these guys know what's good for them. You think so many of us are afraid of you? Come in if you've got the guts. Bring it on. Let's see who's afraid of who. Don't think you can intimidate us. I'll be right here waiting for you to try. Then let's see how you handle this. Just then, an invisible aura spread out. The workers felt as if they were facing the majestic presence of a king, their hearts trembling with fear. Some even dropped to their knees with a thud. The most timid ones simply fainted from the sheer terror. Only Lao Zhang and a few others who had started cultivating could still look me in the eye. It's definitely Conqueror's haki. Conqueror's haki. Boss, let him in. There's no shame even if we let him be the boss. Yeah, exactly. Might makes right. There's no shame in it. After releasing my Conqueror's haki, I no longer planned to keep negotiating with them. It was simply a waste of time. A layer of black light enveloped the baseball bat in my hand. With a heavy swing, I smashed through the barricade the workers had painstakingly built. Lao Zhang gripped his weapon tightly, but ultimately didn't dare to strike. You'd better behave. Ask yourselves whose head is harder, yours or the zombies. Xiaoyu, come here. Hearing my call, Aoyue, who had been watching the show, immediately pulled out the keys and hopped out of the car, skipping and bounding towards me. Sniffing with her delicate little nose, she led me toward the back of the warehouse. Who are you? Get lost, you little brat. What did you say? How dare you talk to me like that? I'll hang you at the gate to feed the zombies later. Oh, you brought a pretty little girl along too. Which club did you drag her out from? Let the boys in the factory have some fun with her later. Xiu Qin, murder. I'll fight you to the death. Brothers, get him together. Our woman was attacked. We can't let this bastard get away. If they insult me, I might let it slide, but if they insult my family, I will absolutely make them pay in blood. Xiao, many times, the wickedness of human nature is more terrifying than zombies. You now have the courage to kill zombies, but do you dare to fight back against humans? The old order has collapsed. If someone bullies you, you must teach them a bloody lesson. If you want to survive in this apocalypse, remember, I will not provoke others, but if anyone provokes me, I will destroy them, no matter where they hide. He's a devil fruit user. I'm sorry. Please don't kill me. Please let us go. We didn't do anything. Xiao Ming, the rule of the apocalypse. Leave no survivors. Since the seed of hatred has been planted, we must eliminate the problem forever. Brother, the one who insulted you is already dead. They are innocent. Just let them go. Xiao Yu, this is the apocalypse. The slightest disagreement can trigger a conflict, and any conflict must end with the death or injury of one side. In my past life, I used to think killing those I directly clashed with was enough. I thought I was cold-blooded enough, but I still lost my life because of a moment of mercy. In this life, I would rather be cursed as a demon than show even the slightest bit of mercy again. Arriving at the place Aou sensed, it was the warehouse where the factory canteen stored food. I violently smashed it open with my bat and found a devil fruit squeezed inside a fruit basket at the bottom. It was still a type I didn't recognize. But just as we walked to the factory gate, I saw that my car had already been driven away. Even though Aoyue had taken the keys, There are always master lockpickers out there who can pull it off. I directly transformed into an Azure dragon and flew up with AOUA on my back. I quickly spotted my car. The Azure dragon swooped down, flipping the car over with a single crash. Boss, please don't kill me. I beg you. Back in the car, the usually playful AOU was silent all the way. She was truly frightened by my decisive and ruthless methods today. It was as if I wasn't her brother anymore. Brother, you were so scary just now. Xiao Ye, remember that it is now the apocalypse. Other than our family, we cannot easily trust anyone. Brother, have you been reborn? Brother, have you been reborn? Did I show any flaws? Why would this girl suddenly say that? You hoarded food like crazy and insisted mom take time off to bring me home. You were so firm. You definitely knew. And ever since you came home, I felt you're so unfamiliar, as if you were a completely different person. I figure there are only two reasons for this. Either you were reborn, or your body was possessed by someone else. Saying the last sentence, AOU's voice grew lower and lower. She didn't dare look at me, afraid that her brother was no longer himself. Ouch! Stupid brother. Brother, I knew you wouldn't abandon me. Brother, how did you die in your past life? Was I strong in your past life? And our parents, were they okay? You all died. But in this life, no matter who dares to hurt you, I will exterminate their entire bloodline. After leaving the factory, we continued heading west. Whenever we encountered hordes of zombies along the way, we would get out of the car and fight them. To train my haki, I also stopped using my Azure Dragon abilities. Ao Ming hadn't awakened her haki yet and was quite weak, but relying on the speed boost from her treasure mouse, she could still fight the zombies with ease. The two of us traveled west like this for 3 days. Over the past 3 days, we hadn't found any more devil fruits. This dampened AOU's initial enthusiasm a bit. She even suspected there was something wrong with her ability, but I told her that this was completely normal. In my previous life, I survived until the second divine bestowal. According to statistics from a powerful faction, there were over 10,000 different ability users in total. Although that's much more than the less than 100 devil fruits in the manga, when averaged across the world's nearly 10 billion people, the fact that I obtained 5 devil fruits consecutively in just a few days is already incredibly rare. Brother, let's head that way. Ao pointed at a small path by the fork in the road. I looked at the map in surprise. It led deep into the mountains. In my previous life, many people did indeed flee into the deep mountains. Although they avoided the mutation, they also lost the opportunity to grow stronger, ultimately meeting a tragic end in the wilderness. I feel like there's something good there. Ao Min wasn't too sure herself either, since intuition is too abstract of a concept. But I trusted her and immediately drove towards the mountains. With no zombies blocking the way, the vehicle went full throttle, speeding along. Ao propped her legs up in the front, swinging her legs while eating snacks, browsing videos, and posts in the divine bestowal space. Haha, that's hilarious. Brother, I just read a post where someone is complaining about not getting a devil fruit. Hey, what's with that expression? Do you know who this complaining person is? I don't think it matters who it is. It can't be that funny. It's Oda. That old thief Oda must be furious. You have no idea. This post is going viral in the divine bestowal space right now. Some people even asked Oda to teach them hockey techniques. But Oda just replied, I'm just a crappy manga artist. What the hell do I know about hockey? Ha ha ha. Thinking back to my previous life, it seems Oda really didn't make much of a name for himself. Even though the divine bestowal used the world he created, it had nothing to do with the original author anymore. Seeing the sky growing dark, I planned to park by the roadside and rest for the night. Just as we rounded the foot of a mountain, I suddenly saw a faint light ahead. Light meant people, but in the apocalypse, other people are the least trustworthy. Although I'm ruthless, I wouldn't go so far as to attack the innocent. Human nature is unpredictable in the apocalypse. Recklessly asking for lodging is too dangerous. It's better to rest outside cautiously. I parked the car by the roadside. Borrowing a bit of the light from over there, I decided we would spend the night here. AOU took out a set of camping equipment from the back and set up a large tent right there. Although the apocalypse is dangerous, under my careful care, AOU wasn't afraid. Instead, she felt a sense of thrill. Brother, what is it? It's a corpse roar. What's a corpse roar? A corpse roar is the howl of a zombie. But since when have you heard zombies howl? A zombie's body is decayed, and their vocal cords are rotten, so they can't make a sound. However, as zombies evolve, their bodies will gradually repair themselves, and they'll slowly regain basic physical functions, like speaking. But to make a sound, it has to be at least a 1 star. Freshly mutated zombies are just unranked zombies. Aside from having a bit more strength and harder bones, they aren't hard to deal with. Even normal humans have a chance to kill them. When they devour flesh and blood to fully repair their bodies, by that point they become much faster and can even use human-like combat moves. At that stage, they become 1-star zombies, also known as flesh zombies. To deal with a flesh zombie, one must at least reach the copper skin stage. It's no longer safe here. Get back in the car. I'll go ahead and take a look. If it's just a flesh zombie, it's fine. But if it's a 2-star stiff zombie, we'll be in danger. I'm only at the copper skin stage right now. To deal with a stiff zombie, I'd need to reach the Ironbone stage. But it's only been 5 or 6 days since the apocalypse began. Zombies shouldn't be evolving this fast. After getting AOUA into the armored vehicle, I activated my dragon transformation, grabbed my iron rod, and headed toward the roar. It was only when I got closer that I realized the place emitting light was a dilapidated Taoist temple. Temple of the Thunder Ancestor. Hidden in the wilderness and so run down, it definitely wasn't one of those commercially packaged tourist temples. This is the kind of place where real Taoist priests live. Help! Help me! Help! Monster! I had black lines down my face. Such a big bald guy, yet his mental fortitude is so weak. Just as I raised my foot to step into the temple, I saw the dilapidated wall of the main hall come crashing down. An old man with pitch-black skin, wearing a Taoist robe, was madly pouncing on someone and tearing into them. Several victims' bodies were scattered on the ground. The scene was incredibly gruesome. Hearing the noise, the old Taoist priest turned his head to look over. The moment our eyes met, I thought to myself, oh no, it wasn't a flesh zombie. It was a stiff zombie. Even while feeding, the old priest's limbs were kept completely straight. His withered hands were covered in sharp claws, and he had 4 fangs in his mouth. These were undeniably the characteristics of a stiff zombie. A stiff zombie is the state when a flesh zombie evolves further, using large amounts of zombie virus to strengthen its body, resulting in a state where the virus accumulates before being digested. The accumulated virus causes the zombie's body to become stiff, but it also grants them copper skin and iron bones, making them extremely hard to kill. Fortunately, their fatal weakness is still the head. As long as the head is chopped off or smashed, it will still die. Damn it. In such a desolate place, where did he get enough virus to evolve? The zombie priest threw away the half-eaten corpse in his hands, leaped into the air, and lunged at me. Even though the zombie's body was stiff, with just this single leap, it arrived right in front of me. I hastily raised my baseball bat to block. The zombie took a bite, and 4 deep tooth marks instantly appeared on the bat. Aiming right at the zombie's face, I spewed out a blast breath, but it only burned away its hair and clothes. Although its flesh was somewhat charred, it was largely unharmed. The zombie priest let out a furious roar and lunged again, brandishing its sharp claws. Thunder Bagua. Even though I can't use Conqueror's hockey coating, the baseball bat enveloped in electricity truly carried some of the might of a Thunder Bagua, accompanied by a massive bang, followed by the faint sound of bones cracking. This zombie's skull was as hard as steel. This custom-made, thickened, and weighted baseball bat snapped straight in half, and the only damage it dealt was a tiny crack on its skull. The zombie priest roared once more, aiming its foul-smelling fangs straight for my neck. Brother, Xiao Yu, dig underground. Don't come out until I kill him. I thought it was just a regular flesh corpse. Who knew it would be a 2-star zombie? This type of zombie possesses freakish strength and a body of iron and bronze. Human armored vehicles can no longer withstand it. Knowing she couldn't help, AOUA quickly transformed into a treasure mouse and rapidly burrowed underground. At this moment, I was panting slightly. Consecutive massive outputs using blast breath and lightning drained my stamina extremely fast. Moreover, the recoil from that swing left my blood churning. The zombie priest leaped again, swiftly closing the distance between us. Its 10 withered black fingers were like sharp claws, thrusting straight at me. I let out a loud roar, grabbing its wrists with a pair of dragon claws, and we began to grapple. Even though the zombie had reached 2-star level, which theoretically requires a human at the Iron Bone realm to rival, relying on my Azure Dragon-enhanced physique, I managed to match it in a deadlock for the moment. While we were grappling, the zombie leaned forward to bite again. With a ruthless resolve, I lowered my head and rammed my dragon horns right into its forehead. The dragon horns were quite sharp, piercing fiercely into its eye socket. The zombie roared in pain. With such severe head trauma, if a normal creature took a hit like this, it would be dead for sure. But the zombie felt no pain. It yanked its head back, pulling itself off my dragon horns. Immediately after, it let out a furious roar, and its arms actually bent slightly. My eyelids twitched. The reason zombies have stiff limbs is due to the accumulation of the virus in their flesh. Once they fully integrate and absorb the virus, they regain their physical flexibility. The slight bending of this zombie's arms now indicated that it was accelerating its viral absorption. I couldn't keep dragging this out. I let out a furious roar, flung its arms away, transformed into an azure dragon, and soared into the sky. My dragon tail instantly lashed out, sending the zombie staggering. A bolt of lightning struck down, charring its body even further. Demolition gust. Countless wind blades spewed from the dragon's maw. Despite the zombie's iron-hard body, it was slashed with countless wounds. Amidst the swirling winds, the azure dragon dove down, grabbed the zombie's arms with its claws, and hoisted it up. The zombie, unbalanced by the demolition gust, couldn't exert any force and was dragged straight into the sky by the azure dragon. I roared, flexing my dragon claws, intending to tear the zombie right in half. But the zombie was resisting inward, and I actually couldn't tear it apart. My realm is still too low. Even though transforming into an azure dragon can suppress it, trying to actually kill it is no easy task. Furthermore, in just this brief moment, I was already feeling exhausted. If I were just using the dragon form to fly, I could last a bit longer. But for combat, I couldn't sustain it for long. I shot up into the clouds once more and forcefully slammed the zombie in my claws downward. With a massive crash, the zombie's body crashed directly into the towering deity statue enshrined in the main hall. But how could a clay statue withstand the zombie's hard body? It was instantly smashed into countless pieces. The zombie slammed heavily onto the ground. Its body was battered and bruised, yet it still didn't fall. I descended to the ground as well, shifted back into human form, and gasped heavily for air. This was my first time fighting at full strength in my Azure dragon form. It was indeed powerful, but for my current self, it was still too much of a strain. Kaido's strength lies in the fact that he was already capable of destroying a country alone. The Azure dragon fruit was just the icing on the cake, whereas I rely entirely on the fruit. Naturally, the power we display is worlds apart. Brother, eat some meat. My stamina recovered slightly, while the zombie priest had already scrambled back up. I shifted into my human beast form once more, coated my dragon claws with armament haki, and engaged the zombie. With the dual protection of armament haki and dragon scales, I could effectively prevent the virus from invading. But dragging the fight on like this would eventually lead to me being worn down to death. I needed a weapon. After another clash, I quickly retreated, but it was too late to enter the divine space to exchange for a weapon. Plus, Ao Ming didn't have enough points. Just as I was thinking of a countermeasure, from the corner of my eye, I suddenly saw beside the statue's rubble a fallen iron rod. I suddenly remembered, this is the Thunder Ancestor Temple. This bamboo-jointed iron rod was exactly the steel whip held by the Thunder Ancestor statue enshrined here. This thing should at least be sturdier than a baseball bat, right? I lunged towards it and picked up the bamboo-jointed steel whip from the ground. Because the statue was huge, this steel whip was thicker and longer than usual. Ordinary mace-type weapons usually don't exceed 80 centimeters, but this one was a full 1.2 meters long. The shaft was also thicker, making it feel incredibly heavy. But wielding it with my current strength, it was just perfect. Right as I picked up the steel whip, the zombie priest pounced once again. Its body was already in tatters, but its assault remained ferocious. Using up the last of my stamina, I unleashed the most violent torrent of electricity. Lightning and armament haki fully coiled around the bamboo-jointed steel whip as I smashed it ruthlessly down onto the zombie priest's forehead. The massive recoil shattered the dragon scales on my palms, but the zombie priest's head was completely pulverized by the strike. After delivering this full-power blow, I dropped out of my human beast form, unable to hold onto the heavy steel whip any longer, and dropped it onto the ground. I felt nothing but agonizing soreness and weakness all over my body. Hearing the sounds of battle stop, AOU underground cautiously emerged from a distance. When she saw me slumped on the ground panting, she hurriedly ran over, bringing me water, meat, and fresh water. After resting for a bit, the two of us entered the ruined temple to investigate. The bald man we first saw at the entrance had died in the shockwaves of our battle. The temple was littered with shattered statues and overturned items. Several victims' corpses lay on the ground. The back hall was where the old priest used to live. When the main hall collapsed, this was the only place that remained intact. It should be safe here. Let's rest here for today. I drove the armored vehicle to the door, locking the gate to prevent others or zombies from entering. I brought a stool and sat outside the courtyard, looking up at the night sky. Suddenly, I felt a stir in my mind, and my consciousness entered the God-bestowed space. Because you were the first to kill a star-rank zombie, you will receive a reward. Also, since you killed a star-rank zombie within the first 10 days of the apocalypse, the reward tier has been upgraded. Furthermore, since you directly killed a 2-star zombie, a Jiangshi, the reward tier has been upgraded once more. Please choose one of the following 3 titles. A title? My spirit jolted. Just like the talent I chose the first time, titles are extremely rare and scarce. At least in my previous life, despite working so hard, I had never obtained a single title. Title 1. Damage dealt to zombies is permanently doubled. Title 2. Bounty Hunter. Points earned from killing zombies are permanently doubled. Title 3. Divine VIP Member. Become a distinguished member of the God-bestowed space. You will get a one-time 90% off discount and a permanent 20% off on all items exchanged in the God-bestowed space. Oh my god. All 3 titles are incredibly tempting. Killing faster or earning more. Comparatively, killing faster is a bit better, because if you kill faster, you naturally earn more. Plus, it gives you a chance to challenge stronger zombies. But neither of these compares to Title 3, Divine VIP Member, a one-time 90% off discount and permanent 20% off privileges. The 2 unique exchange options, the Stealth Black Lineage Factor and the Demon Purifying Potion that removes Devil Fruit side effects, both require 100 million points. With a 90% discount, I can get one for just 10 million points. Furthermore, everything else is 20% off. I could easily use this privilege to be a middleman and earn massive points. There's no need to hesitate. I'll choose option 3 directly, Divine VIP Member. Afterward, I checked my personal stats panel. Name, Ao Xing. Talent, Haki Genius. Title, Divine VIP Member. Devil Fruit, Azure Dragon Form. Realm, Body Tempering, Bronze Skin. Equipment, Thunder Ancestor Whip. Pseudo. Points, 9,655. Huh? I suddenly noticed something in the equipment section. Thunder Ancestor Whip? I looked at the bamboo-jointed steel whip beside me. It was the object held by the Thunder Ancestor enshrined in the temple. But it's just an ordinary item after all. How could it be counted as equipment? And it even has the word pseudo. My previous baseball bat helped me kill so many zombies, but it was never recognized as equipment. I placed the bamboo-jointed whip on my lap and observed it carefully. Why is this thing so special? I saw that the steel whip was covered in rust. It must have endured countless years and perhaps was once worshipped by thousands. It has 18 joints in total, and each joint is engraved with Taoist runes I can't understand. I looked at it for a long time, but still couldn't see anything special about it. However, when I used it to strike that old Jiangxi Taoist earlier, it was indeed very handy. My points are nearly at 10,000 now. Should I appraise Xiao Yue's fruit? I stroked my chin, pondering. The appraisal fee for a devil fruit is 1,000 points. That doesn't seem like much to me, but there's no rush. I don't need to use that fruit right now anyway, so it can wait until I get back. After making my choice, I entered the God-bestowed space again. This time, I went to the family group I created in the communication channel. I first told my parents I was safe and asked about the situation at home. It turned out a major event actually happened at home today. The Chen family, father and son from upstairs, came to borrow food after learning we had stock. At that time, only my mom and Liu Xiyao were at home. My dad and Meng Kui were fighting zombies downstairs. Originally, my kind-hearted mom wanted to give them some, but as a result, the father and son became red-eyed with greed after seeing a room full of supplies. Plus, coveting Liu Xiao's beauty, the two of them unexpectedly tried to kill my mom to seize the supplies and the beauty. Fortunately, Liu Xiao was on guard, and after training her haki, even though it hasn't awakened yet, her physique had improved dramatically. So, when the two attacked, she counter-killed them. My mom was startled at the time. Although she had killed a few zombies herself, it was her first time witnessing murder. By the way, I remember old Chen has a wife and a daughter. Where are they? Boss, I've already killed them. When Meng Kui learned that Zhang Heng was attacked, he was terrified. He had promised the boss that he wouldn't let his parents get hurt. In his fury, he immediately kicked down the Chen family's door upstairs. Meng Kui's decisiveness and ruthlessness surprised me. Unlike me, he hasn't experienced the apocalypse before. Yet he was able to act so decisively. Well done. I didn't thank him, but praised him instead. I understand how a leader should act in the apocalypse. Boss, I've checked. Aside from our family, there are no living people left in this building. Tomorrow, I plan to get some building materials to block off the stairwells and build some defenses. All right, be careful. I agreed with Meng Kui's idea. At this point, I finally asked about their family backgrounds. Meng Kui's mother was in poor health. After the zombie virus outbreak, she was sent to the hospital while in a coma. As a result, she turned into a zombie when the apocalypse hit and directly bit Meng Kui's father to death. Meng Kui fled in panic, driving his car in an attempt to escape the city. Therefore, his loyalty to me and arrival in Biancheng leaves him with no attachments. Liu Xiao is different from him. She comes from a rural background and went to college on a scholarship. She is very smart and knows how to use her advantages to extract money from men, while keeping them from ever truly getting her. Xiao, your brother is getting married. The bride's family demands a house. Since you just bought this house, transfer the ownership to your brother. Exactly. As an older sister, you need to support your younger brother. I won't do it. You? You ungrateful brat. Your wings have grown hard, haven't they? I fed you, clothed you, and paid for your college, and this is how you repay me? You shameless thing. How could you buy a house at such a young age? This house, you definitely got it through illicit means. Let's go. Ultimately, while being dragged away to transfer the property, the apocalypse broke out. She escaped amid the chaos and has no idea how her parents and brother are doing now. Of course, she doesn't care whether they live or die anymore. I've already cut ties with them. Whether they are dead or alive has nothing to do with me. From now on, I only belong to you, Master. I will do anything for you. I sighed with emotion. The apocalypse is merciless. If they hadn't met me, they would have likely died on the streets. In the apocalypse, staying safely hidden at home offers a much higher survival rate than running out of the city. Do your jobs well. I won't mistreat you. Next, I recounted my experiences on the road and told them all about it. I also warned them to be careful of evolved zombies. After ending the call, I chatted with AOU for a while, checked if there was any new news in the God-bestowed Spaces communication channel, and then fell sound asleep. Outside the Taoist temple, a tiny silhouette quietly appeared. Master,